So usually I'm fairly good at not buying stuff that I don't ultimately need. I'm notoriously cheap in that way. The only thing that I usually buy is books or DVDs, but I don't necessarily go around buying stuff that I don't absolutely need. But there are a couple exceptions. Hi everybody, Carla here. So I was going to talk about the Last Jedi trailer, as I mentioned last week, but it just so happened that last Friday was Friday the 13th. So apparently, the entire Hollywood industry decided this was the day to release all the awesome trailers that you could possibly imagine. First, they released the New Mutants trailer, which I was totally not expecting because New Mutants just filmed wrapping like a month ago or something. Like, seriously, I think it was something like September 15th or something like that. And not 1 month in, and they already have a trailer. And it was awesome. I really loved it. It didn't show a lot of their powers or anything, but again, this movie just finished wrapping, so I wasn't expecting any of the visual effects to be finished. I'm mind blown by the fact that they had even enough to put together a trailer of this quality. I adored that trailer. I'm so excited for this movie. But apart from that, and apart from the Star Wars trailer, Friday the 13th was also the day that Stranger Things decided to drop their final trailer for season 2. I told you guys, I called it that we would get another trailer in October. I'm a psychic. Ask me for the lottery numbers. Guys, come on. I'm psychic, apparently. I knew they would do this, and I wasn't even thinking about it being the 13th, so I didn't put two and two together that they would release it that day, but I knew they would release at least one more trailer. And they have, and it was incredible! I mean, can we talk about how this trailer feels more like the trailer for a movie than it does for a TV show? It's like, what? What is this show? I don't even know. It's so exciting and I loved it so much. So of course I have to come here today to do a complete breakdown of the Stranger Things trailer because that's what I do. I spent my entire life thinking about Stranger Things. That's all I do with my life, really. There was also a Black Panther trailer, which I didn't love as much. The movie looks amazing. I can't wait to see it. I just felt this particular trailer relied a bit too heavily on the CGI and it put me off a bit. But seriously, Hollywood, what are you doing these days? These trailers are incredible and I'm so glad that sort of the summer season for movies, like the big blockbusters, has extended out, because that means that movies we're getting in February and March are also getting these amazing, incredible trailers. And I can't wait to see any of them. But today I'm gonna talk about Stranger Things. As you saw, I bought the latest copy of Entertainment Weekly. I finally got it. Thank you to my friend Crystal for getting it to me, because the people at Entertainment Weekly will not let me buy these things without a US credit card, which is heftily and awfully annoying, and it makes me really, really angry. But thankfully my friend Crystal bought them for me and had them sent to me, and I love them so much. I mean, look at these boys. How can you not love these adorable creatures? I love them so much. I read them. It's really cool. If you can get a hold of it, please do, because it actually has a lot more information in the magazine itself than it does in the articles that they published online. So I learned a lot of new things that I hadn't heard of before, and I'm gonna comment a little bit on that as I go through the trailer. But what we're gonna do today is then break down the Stranger Things trailer literally scene by scene. Like, seriously guys, this is going to be really long, just a warning, because I went through the whole thing with a fine comb. I have not seen anybody else's breakdowns, so I might be missing some stuff because, you know, I'm not the most observant person in the world. But I am going to go through this thing basically scene by scene, and we're going to talk about what's going on and what I think is going on. I feel like this trailer both confused me a little bit because it gave me new questions to ask, but also I feel like it sort of verified a lot of the assumptions and speculation that I had made in the past. If you haven't seen my previous trailer breakdowns for Stranger Things, go ahead and look at them up here. Definitely check them out because I posit my speculation for what I think is going to happen in this season. We are only 10 days away, you guys. I'm so excited, and this trailer just threw me over the moon, basically. So let's get to it. Stop talking now because this is going to be really long, so I'll just go ahead and start. So the first thing we see in the trailer is basically somebody is in a forest of some kind, in the snow. There's snow in the ground, and there's this person huddled with a jacket and stuff. We think it's probably some kind of child. Then the camera turns, and we see that it's actually 11. It's interesting because she seems to still be wearing the dress that she got from Nancy, but then she has a new jacket and she has a new hat, which I think is kind of cute, but also really interesting. And we see that it's her and we see the snow, and I think it's supposed to immediately make us think that she's in the Upside Down. But then it doesn't seem like the snow in the Upside Down, because the Upside Down has those like white flaky things that always float around, and it doesn't have the exact same blue hue that the Upside Down usually has. So I think it's supposed to meant to trick you, but you can tell that she's not in the Upside Down anymore. This is outside. And also they released a clip just yesterday, I believe it was, where we see 11 leaving the Upside Down. So I'm gonna say that that happens fairly early in the season. I had already commented on this in the previous trailer, but I think that happens fairly early in the season, and she's just gonna be outside. So this moment that we see of 11 in the snow, this is her in the real world. Another clue as to this is that when she opens the box that she goes to look for in the middle of the snow, she pushes the snow away and she opens the box, and we see that there's food in there and Eggos. And if you look at it, those are the exact same little container of food and the package of Eggos that Hopper leaves for her at the end of season 1. So not only is this really happening in the real world, it's happening in the real world probably somewhere around Christmas '83. So this is the previous year altogether, and you know, they probably put the cap on 11 so that we wouldn't notice that she had a little bit more hair and etc. But yeah, this is basically Hopper feeding her. So I think most of the fandom thought maybe the little chest, the little box was some kind of portal to the Upside Down. No, she's outside. And that tells me that Hopper knows she's outside too. So I feel pretty vindicated in my thoughts now that Hopper somehow knows that she's back. Even if he's not actively taking care of her, which I will talk about later, I think he definitely knows. I don't know if this is going to be a flashback of some sort, or if this is how it's going to start, or if she's just going to be like remembering it. I don't know, but I think it's interesting that even though the season 2 is going to take place a whole year after, we're still getting flashes of Christmas time '83. So that's very interesting. Like, you want to see how ridiculously anal retentive I am about these things? I actually looked up whether or not it snowed in Indiana in October. Guess what? It doesn't snow that much in Indiana in October. So just from this amount of snow, you know this is not the Upside Down, this is real, and it's somewhere in the winter. So December, January, around that time, that's when we see 11 here. And it's gotta be '83, right? Because that was the last time it snowed, basically. It's the previous winter. After that, we catch a glimpse of Will. And it's actually really cool cinematography here because we see him first from the back, and he's looking at this sort of deserted street in the Upside Down. And you can tell this is the Upside Down because the tone, the hue, the blue hue is very particular to the Upside Down. And we see him from behind, and we see like cables and stuff. We can tell that he's wearing his Ghostbusters uniform, so this is definitely taking place in Halloween. Then we switch over and we see a shot of the monster turning, and it's really creepy. The monster itself seems so odd, so otherworldly. I really love it, and not just the way it looks, but just kind of the texture to it, because it seems very like floaty and flexible, and I really like that. So right away we start off with a really creepy moment, and then we catch our first glimpse of Nancy and Jonathan, and they are walking into some place that seems sort of like one of those crime scene murals that detectives have in TV at some point. So I do wondering, it seems like they're investigating something, like they're going to ask somebody questions about something. And you see that mural, that wall, that murder wall, basically. And it's interesting because we don't know exactly what that wall is for, but we do see to the right of the wall there's a drawing that seems to be 11, and above her head you can just read Russian and a question mark, and it's like, okay, somebody knows that 11 was around for some reason and thinks they're Russian. And then to the left of it, when the camera pans out, we can see something that looks like a schedule at first, I thought, but then I realized it's more of a timeline. And you can read stuff like pick up Nancy Wheeler, park and leave car, and Harrington House with the respective times for it. And I wonder, it makes me feel that this is about Barb, right? So is the man they see Barb's dad? Is he investigating Barb's disappearance, and does he think it was linked to 11 somehow? Or is this some other dude that just likes mystery and wants to investigate stuff? I don't know what it is, but I think it's very interesting that there's people looking for answers about Barb, so that's good. After that, we see Steve, and he's hanging with the kids. So there's Lucas, Dustin, and Max. And also, it seems for a moment like Lucas and Dustin are arguing, which I think is cool, because that's what they do all the time. And I wonder if they're arguing about Max, because Max is just kind of standing there looking at them, so that would be cute. I just really want to know why Steve is hanging out with the kids. And also, why is Mike not there? Like, where is Mike? What's happening with him? This is a recurring theme through the trailer that you will see me repeat over and over, by the way. Next thing we see is a really cool shot of the four of them from the back, and they're looking at something in the sky. I don't know what it is. I can't really imagine that it will be a monster, because I don't know, I don't think they're dealing with the big monster, at least not at the beginning. So something is happening that they think is weird, and they all four of them look up at the sky, and it's just a really cool shot. Then we see a car from above. I wonder if this is the same car that we saw in the previous trailer that was like leaving Hawkins, only we saw it from behind. This time we see it from above, and I don't know what it is. Is that Joyce's car? Is she taking Will to the lab, maybe? Or is it perhaps Hopper or someone else going to the cabin to look for 11 or something? It could be a lot of things, so I'm not entirely sure of this one. Then we see a shot of Will and Mike in what looks to be Will's room. And first off, I just have to say yay for Mike and Will friendship. I love those two. I need them to be BFFs since the first episode of season 1. I love them. I want to see more interaction between the two of them. And thinking about it, I feel like this is happening after Halloween, because we hear Mike say, and this might be just, careful editing and whatever, but we hear Mike say, on Halloween, Will saw a shadow. So I would assume that this is after Halloween, so that everybody knows that Will saw something, right? I feel like it might be closer to the end of the season, but I'm not sure. I should also point out, and this is going to be very important throughout this trailer breakdown as well, Mike is wearing a polo shirt with a blue hoodie. And this is the same outfit that he's wearing in a lot of the trailer. And it just goes to show, I kind of figure out my timeline based on Mike's way of dressing, I guess. Because I don't know, I focus so much on Mike that I only really notice what he's wearing. So I'm going to repeat that a lot because that's going to tell me that this is happening later in the season, I think. And then we see Hopper and Joyce, and Hopper tells Joyce that Will's nightmares are actually really happening. And he says it's related to here. And we see a shot of the lab. But of course, because this is a trailer, I'm not entirely sure what he means. Does he mean the lab? I guess they want us to think he means the lab. He could also be talking about Joyce's house, or he could also just be talking about Hawkins in general. Like, what does he mean? I'm not sure. I love Joyce's expression here because, again, it's so classic Joyce. Like, she's just already freaking out about her kid again, because that's what Joyce does, and I love her for it. I love her so much. I also think it's really funny that we see a shot of the lab from above, and we realize, I hadn't realized this before, but the lab is actually X-shaped, which is really funny because in the previous trailer, we also saw Hopper marking a map with X-shaped marks. And I'm like, that's cool. It's really kind of a hint, isn't it? So I found that was really cool. So again, then we see Will from behind. He's wearing a hospital gown of some sort, and he seems to be at some kind of boardroom table, I guess. And it's funny because we've seen Will's drawings before. We've seen what he's drawn all over his room and all over his house. But these appear to be photos of the drawings. So, like, there's the drawings, and then there's the photos of the drawings. And it's just, like, I really want to know what's happening here. What has happened to Will? Then, again, another shot of Will. This time he's sitting, I assume, somewhere at the lab. We hear Joyce talking to someone. I'm guessing she's talking to Dr. Owens, who is Paul Reiser's character. But I can't be sure at this point. After that, things switch down to Joyce. Again, she seems to be in a boardroom as well. I don't know if it's the same one, but it could be. And she's wearing scrubs, so I would assume that she's in the hospital, or in the lab, or in the hospital section of the lab. I don't know. And she's yelling. And I don't know if this is a continuation of her words from before, or if this is a whole different scene and she's just pissed off now that nothing is being revealed about her son. I don't know what's going on, but I really want to... Again, I love it when Joyce is so protective of her kids, and I love these outbursts because I think season 1 she was so great. She deserved an Emmy. Damn it, Television Academy. She deserved that Emmy. And I feel like I'm going to see more of that, more of the Joyce that I love, and I really enjoy that. So after that, we see somebody in the Upside Down. The blue hue again is there, and as are the white flecks that float around in the Upside Down. Initially, I assumed that this was Steve and the kids, like we've seen in other scenes in the trailer and in previous trailers, but I should point out there are 6 flashlights in this scene. Count them, there are 6 of them. So even if it was Steve, Lucas, Dustin, and Max, that's only 4. Who are the other 2? Is Mike there? Is he there at the point? Who is there? Who else is there with them? Is Hopper with them as well? Because we see him going into an upside down type cave later on, and I wonder if he's there with the kids and he's leading the way, maybe. I don't know. But I do think it's interesting that we see more people in the upside down this time around. They're all sort of venturing in there, and I really like that. After that, we see a clip of Will being examined by Dr. Owens. I don't know if he's admitted to the hospital after Joyce granted him and chews him out, or does the chewing him out happen after, since she's wearing the scrubs? I don't know the order of this, but I think it's pretty safe bet that Will is somehow going to be admitted into the lab at some point. Then we catch our first glimpse of Paul Reiser as Dr. Owens, and you know, he doesn't look evil. So maybe he's not evil, but he probably is evil. Like, I don't know what to think of him yet, but he seems like a normal dude at this point, so I guess we'll just wait and see. And then this scene, we see another scene of Will and Mike, and Will is saying that he doesn't understand what's happening, and then Mike says, 11 would, if she was here. And I'm just like, oh, oh, stab me in the heart with a spork. Why don't you like? Oh, it hurts me so much to see him so sad, you guys. It just, I don't even know. Like, my poor baby, I just want to reach my hands through the screen and give him a hug. Also, once again, I'm just really, really happy to see Will and Mike hanging out because I really wanted them to see more of their interaction after the first episode of season 1. I thought they were really cute. I thought they would be really great friends. And I just want to see more of that, and I'm glad that even just in the trailers we seem to be getting more of that. It's just so great. And I should note that in this scene, it's not the same as the previous scene that we got with them. It's a different scene because both of them are wearing their Ghostbusters uniforms. So this is probably earlier in the season. This is taking place during Halloween Day, and it's probably earlier on in the season, I would say. So I do wonder, because it does seem to be in Will's room, and I do wonder if this is sort of where the boys were biking to in the first trailer, because I remember they were in the bikes in that first teaser trailer, and I was wondering where is Will? Why is he not there? So now I'm wondering, were they biking towards his house? Maybe, I don't know. Next we see a shot of Eleven running. It's really quick, but with the screen caps, again, I was able to tell that she's wearing the pink dress still. She seems to be wearing a different coat, however, because this one has a fuzzy collar, and she has the plaid headgear, like the hat. So again, this must be from really early on, fairly early after she returns from the Upside Down. Definitely something around December or January '83, simply because it just doesn't snow as much in Indiana in October, so it has to be the previous winter. Maybe a flashback? I don't know. Then we see what I think is one of the coolest shots in the trailer, and it's the lock on the door is just lifting up by itself, and it's really creepy. Like, if this had been any other movie, like any other show, it would have been really creepy, and I would have thought there were like ghosts around or something. But it's just really cool to see it in Stranger Things. And the music, guys! Oh my god, the music in this trailer! I have to mention it because I will forget to mention it later on, but the music in this, specifically this part, is just so good. Oh my god. And then after we see, of course, that it's the door opens and we see that it's Eleven who's moving the lock. I think this definitely happens contemporaneously with everything else, so around Halloween, because, well, first of all, it's fall. There's no snow behind 11 at all. It seems like the colors of the fall, so leaves falling on the ground and stuff from what I can see. Also, 11's wearing different clothes. She's wearing the overalls and the bag and whatever, and it seems to be the same clothing that she was wearing in that Entertainment Weekly still that we got from them. Also, her hair is longer. So I definitely think this is happening around Halloween time in '84. I don't think this house that she's breaking into is the cabin in the woods. It seems a little bit too well lived in. I think it's a different house, someone's house. And it makes me wonder again why she's breaking in. Like, is she on some kind of mission? Or is she just on her own in said cabin in the woods and she's looking for something? Maybe she needs more clothes, maybe she needs more food. Why is she on her own? If Hopper knows that she is out of the Upside Down, why is he not with her? Is it too dangerous for him to be seen lurking around the woods? What's going on? After this, random shot of the Hawkins Middle School gym for the win. I don't even know where that moment was there, but I just had to put to edit it. After that, we see Joyce sitting in what looks like her living room or Will's room or somewhere. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but it's very reminiscent of the Christmas lights scene in season 1 when she's talking to Will using the Christmas lights. And she's among Will's drawings of the monster, I guess, but it doesn't look like she's looking at the drawings necessarily. It feels to me more like she's waiting for something. She has a phone at her side, so is she waiting for a call from someone? Is she waiting for a call from the lab about Will, maybe, or just a call from Hopper? What is going on? So I think this is a very interesting scene that I hadn't really thought about in that way before. Next, we see Dustin and Steve peering into a cave. And note that behind them, it's not blue. So I would say they're not in the Upside Down at that point yet. This is not the same cave that Hopper goes into later, or the rest of them go into later. I think they're just looking for something. Probably Dustin's Pollywog pet, I guess. That would be my guess. And is Dustin the someone younger that Joe Keery talked about, hinted at in one of the spoiler videos that they did? Did he mean Dustin particularly? Did he mean all the kids? I don't know. I originally thought it might be Max, honestly, because Steve and Max sort of brotherly relationship has somehow become a thing on Tumblr and on fanfiction. I don't know where it came from. So I initially thought, oh my god, this is Joe Keery actually confirming that he'll be hanging out with Max in a brotherly fashion. But it could be Dustin, too. And after watching this trailer, I really want Dustin and Steve to be BFFs forever. I mean, how cool would that be? I didn't know I needed that, but now I know that I need that. Here we see another shot of the monster coming out of what looks like a football stadium, I would guess. And I really love the look of the shadow monster. It just looks so stretchy and squishy, and it looks very alien to me, and I really, really love how it looks. And we hear Will saying, it's like it's reaching into Hawkins. And I wonder if this is from that scene that we saw in the previous trailer when he's talking to his mother and he's crying. And I remember that scene being really impactful for me because that's when I decided, oh my god, Noah is going to be the MVP this season because he's so incredible. His acting is so incredible. So I'm very much thinking of that scene, and I do wonder that whether what he says about the monster reaching into Hawkins is during that scene, because it seems like his voice is breaking. And it friggin' breaks my heart just to think that this is what he has to tell his mother. You know, he must be so scared. It's incredible. Then we see a shot of Mike, and he seems to be in the buyer's house. We see Jonathan in the background, and he's just walking forward, and Mike is saying, if anyone knows how to destroy this thing, it's Will. And I just, that moment just made me like ebullient, because it's just, I've been seeing Mike be so sad for so long that it just feels like my baby Mike is back to form, and back to being the leader, and back to being the supportive friend. And just this part of the trailer just made me cheer out loud, like, yes, that's my Mike. And I wonder if he's back to form because is 11 back already at this point? Or is he just stepping up despite the fact that he still misses 11? Either way, I just love seeing him, you know, take the leadership role once again, because he is the leader. He is the one who's always there to push his friends forward, to support them, to give them his strength, and I love it. And also, I have to point out again, he's wearing the striped polo with the blue hoodie. That combo it happens a lot in this trailer, and we see Jonathan in the background, so I would say that this is definitely closer to the end of the season, because the Duffers have said that once again in this season, everybody will have different plot lines, and then all the plot lines will merge at the end. So the fact that Jonathan is there, the fact that there are the buyers, and the clothes just makes me think that this is closer to the climax of the season. After that, we get a glimpse of Will having some kind of seizure or being in some kind of awful pain, and I'm just wondering, damn, is this where the shadow monster or whatever else is there tries to take over Will? I mean, that poor child, he's gone through so much and he's still dealing with this freaking crap. I just want to hug him. I just want to hug him so bad, that poor kid. And we see Bob holding Joyce back, which is obviously the photo from the Entertainment Weekly shot that we saw, and he's definitely holding her back from going to Will, I guess. Good. I called it. Also, Owens is there, so this is definitely around that same scene in the lab. Then we see a shot of Hopper in the Upside Down. It's really squicky. It's really gross, honestly. He's got a lighter held up to something that looks like a wall, and then when the light comes closer, you realize, oh, it's not a wall. It's a living thing that probably wants to eat him. I don't know. It's just so disgusting. He's definitely exploring the inside of the cave, I would say, but he's definitely in the upside down. Then, speaking of things that are alive, we see a shot of Owens and a few of the lab techs, and they're looking at something in a microscope. And then some similar stuff that's in some graduated cylinders in the table starts kind of spinning. I don't know what it is. Is it pieces of the monster? Is it some like smoke-like appearance? It made me think it might be related to the monster because he was surrounded by clouds in that vision of Will's. So maybe something that came out of Will, I don't know, but it's definitely from the upside down. And they're analyzing it. So it surprised them that it's alive, even though it's in the lab. Later we see Nancy and Jonathan. And Nancy, who by the way is in pajamas and actually looks kind of flirty here, but she's like, don't you think it's weird that we only seem to hang out when the world's about to end? Yes, Nancy, we do think it's really weird. And I don't know whose fault it was. I don't know if it was you who walked away from him, or if it was him who walked away from you, or if it was both, but it needs to end ASAP. P.S. Get freaking together already. I'm just saying. I need them to get together. I can't stand this going on for another year. Also, she looks absolutely gorgeous in here. I just love it. I love her expression on her face. It's like a little flirty smirk, and I really love her in this moment. And also, where are they exactly? Because it's definitely not Nancy's room. It doesn't look like the Wheeler's basement. Are they in the cabin? It almost looks like the same wooden panels that we saw 11 in the first trailer, resting, crying against some wooden panels, so it almost looks like the same place, but it could be a different place because it's the 80s and there were wooden panels everywhere, so who knows? Is that Jonathan's room? I don't remember exactly. Or are they in some kind of motel? Like, is this just part of their investigation or whatever it is that they're doing? I just think it's interesting that they're sleeping in the same room, even though I don't think it's in the same bed. So, but they're definitely in the same room. So then we see that it looks like Joyce and Bob are also involved in whatever grave digging inspection Hopper is doing since the first trailer. And I do wonder, is it happening at the same time? Is Hopper there too and we just don't see him? Or does Hopper go and dig something up first and then the two of them go and dig something up? What even are they digging up? I don't know. But I guess we'll see. Now, I mentioned in a previous trailer breakdown, when we saw the explosion inside the house and we blew Hopper to the side, I mentioned that I think this might be the cabin. Because there was a title for an episode. By the way, the titles were revealed, the final titles, and they have changed. A few of them have changed. And we still don't know the final version of the titles for episodes 7, 8, and 9. So, it might be. But there was, the first time they announced the episode titles, there was one that was titled The Secret Cabin. And I've always wondered, kept it in the back of my mind and said, okay, is this the cabin? And also because something is exploding from the outside in and blowing Hopper up. Is it the monster or is this the storm? Because there was also a title of an episode titled The Storm. So I wonder if this is that. Now we see a shot of somebody standing in front of a TV with static on. And they're wrapping a bandana around their head and tying it up. And, you know, I initially thought it might be Steve or even Dustin, but now that I look at it in more detail, I realize it's probably 11. And first off, let's get the important stuff out of the way. Is 11 watching The Karate Kid? Please let 11 be watching The Karate Kid. I know this to be a thing, and The Karate Kid came out in '84, so it would be perfect for 11 to actually watch it. I should also point out, it looks like she's wearing different clothes that we haven't seen her wear before. So I keep thinking, is this from this episode? Because if you read the Entertainment Weekly article, they do mention at one point that episode 7 of season 2 is going to be 11 centric. And if you look back to the first video with the episode titles that we had, back when season 2 was first announced, the 7th episode was the Secret Cabin episode. So is the Secret Cabin 11 centric because she's being kept in the Secret Cabin? You know, if you extrapolate, it makes sense. And I think it would make sense if Hopper or someone else, I think it's Hopper, but it might be someone else, I might be wrong on that, is keeping 11 safe in the cabin in the woods. So I think that would make a lot of sense. And they do say that it's more about 11 sort of coming to grips with being a teenager in the real world, which is something she'd never experienced before because she'd been kept in the lab for her entire life. And I think, you know, TV might have a lot to do with that, of her trying to understand the world around her. And by God, if she's watching The Karate Kid and thinking that's what the world is like, oh my God, please. Yes, I need this in my life. Please, Duffers, listen to my telepathy, listen to what I'm telling you that I need, and give it to me. I need it. I really need it. Then we hear Hopper say, it's not like it was before, it's grown. And we see a shot of him going through some glass doors. There's a yellow light all around him. And he's wearing a hazmat suit. So, you know, I'm guessing he's talking about the Upside Down, not necessarily the monster. Because this is a different monster, obviously. But can I just say also, yay that Hopper is now obviously the one who's going to be twitching this monster tentacle thingy that we saw in the previous trailer. I said in my last breakdown for the trailer, oh my God, please let it be Hopper. And God hurt me, and so did the Duffers, because it's Hopper, damn it. Flamethrower Hopper. Yes! Then we see something go by really fast, and it's like somebody being jostled around. And I think it's Lucas. Someone else might be there because I think I see a foot flying at some point. And they're inside something that looks like a vehicle. Are they in the bus? As in the same bus that they were in season 1? And who's attacking them? Does Dustin's pet go like crazy on them or what? I mean, it might be cute, Dustin, but it's a monster. Just warning you. Then we see a shot of Max, and Dustin is there as well, and she's looking up, and there's a hole in the ceiling, and a ladder here going up to the ceiling, right? So I would assume that this is a continuation of the same scene, with Max possibly realizing, hey, there's a place where this creature can enter this vehicle that we're in and kill us all. So, you know, that's really interesting. I also should point out, through this scene at least, we have seen no sign of Mike. So he's not there, at this point at least. Then we hear Lucas saying, it's Judgment Day, which is why we need as much help as we can get. He's telling this to Dustin, when they're hiding from something on the side of a car, which seems pretty much a junkyard car. So I would say they're definitely in the junkyard, so it might make sense if they're in the bus then later on. But this is happening during the day. And I do wonder, is this Lucas arguing for Dustin to call Steve? Or is this Lucas arguing for all 4 of them to call someone else maybe for backup? Also, can I just say that it freaked me out, it caught me completely off guard that Caleb's voice, that is Lucas, his voice is now so deep. And it really shook me because, oh my God, my babies are growing up, and I don't even know how to feel about that. It feels so weird to me because they're not little kids anymore. They're growing up and they're teenagers, and I feel like a proud mama. I love them so much. Then we see a little shot of, again, the boys and Steve, and Max is there, and it's funny because while the other boys are all oblivious, Max is noticing stuff. She's there to notice the stuff that they all miss. And can I just say I love her already? Like, I haven't even heard her speak, but I love her. I really enjoyed that little clip of them rolling barrels somewhere in the junkyard. Because, First off, it reminds me of the 80s. It reminds me of 80s movies in general, where they would go to a lot of junkyards and roll around stuff and hide behind stuff and stuff like that. But once again, it's just the four of them. It's Steve, Lucas, Dustin, and Max. Where is Mike? Why is Mike not there? What is happening? And I can't help but just conclude that, these four are going to be doing their thing. Nancy and Jonathan are doing their thing. And Mike is somewhere, probably with Will. I don't know, because then Will gets taken to the lab, and what happens to Mike then? Like, I understand that they all have their separate plots, and probably Mike isn't around the rest of the boys as much in this season. That's all I can conclude from the fact that he's just almost never there. I don't know. And I just would like to know when exactly is this happening, because they seem to spend a lot of time in the junkyard, those four, but sometimes it's during daytime, sometimes it's during nighttime, so I'm not sure what's going on, when it's going on. Is this at the beginning of the season, at the end of the season, somewhere in the middle? I don't know. Then we see a shot of Dustin with a mask, like a catcher's mask and a catcher's protecting guard. And I don't know what's happening here, but I just kind of love it, because it looks like he has wood in his back, like the wall is made out of wood, and it has this treehouse feel to it. And again, it just reminds me of 80s movies in general, especially Stand By Me, by the way, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. So I really enjoyed just the fact that this feels like a treehouse scene for some reason. And then we see Hopper being hosed down by two dudes, or women, I don't know, they might be women, in hazmat suits, and he's being hosed down, he's screaming. I would assume it doesn't feel great to be hosed down with so much pressure. I generally assume that this is just them prepping him for the hazmat suit and the yellow thing, and to go, incinerate the mustard tentacle thingy, I guess. I don't think this is such a big deal. Like, I don't think they're doing anything to him. I don't think they're hurting him. They're just prepping him. Later, we go back to the Upside Down and to the monster. And can I just say, this is my favorite scene of the entire trailer. My favorite shot of the entire trailer. Because you see the monster right on the right side of the scene. And then you see the tiny line standing like some feet away on the left side of the shot. That's Will. That's Will. Like, can you see the difference between the humongous monster and that tiny little line down there? It's like mind-blowing. I love that moment. And also, I want to know what the monster is doing. Is it talking to Will? Is it trying to communicate? Is it trying to eat him? What is happening? Yeah, I just want to know. It's such a great shot. I love it. Then we see Steve running again. I think he has the bat in his hand. I'm not entirely sure, but I think so. And again, they seem to be at the junkyard, but this seems to be at night. So I guess they kind of prepared some kind of plan, and now they're actually executing it. I don't know what's going on here, what they're fighting at the junkyard, but it definitely makes me think that they've spent the entire day. Then we see a shot of Hopper with a shotgun of some kind, and I just have to say, like, can you say badass? Guys, how badass can this man get? Like, I already love him, but every little thing I see of him in this trailer makes me love him even more, because he's so cool. I just love him so much. After that, we see like a random shot of some lab person pushing a button. I don't know if this is Owens or if it's someone else, but I guess the lab is doing something and he or she wants them to just stop, so they press a button, whatever. Then we see a shot of Nancy sort of coming out and looking at something in the sky. And I don't know what's going on, but can I just say that she reminds me a little bit of Sarah Connor here, which is kind of really awesome because Sarah Connor is amazing. But I really like this shot of her. She looks so great. Then we see people loading guns. This one is a handgun, not a rifle, so I don't know who it is, but guns are involved. Then we get a shot of Steve looking really badass. I really want to know what Steve's role in this whole season's plot is going to be, because I'm kind of liking him more and more with each glimpse I get of Steve. I didn't love Steve in season 1. He was okay, and I could see his charm in Joe Keery, but Steve wasn't my favorite character. But now that I'm seeing more of him and seeing him interact with the kids, he's growing on me. I like that. Then we have a shot of Billy with the 80s hair, and he is apparently punching someone. I don't know. I guess that's just what Billy does. Punch people. Then we see a really cool shot of Steve and the kids in an upside down tunnel. I don't know if it's the same one as Hopper goes into. I'm not sure. Because of the whole thing with the 6 flashlights, I would say maybe. But I should also point out, Mike is there. And he's wearing the striped polo hoodie combo. So is this before or after all the scenes in Joyce's house? And is this after all the scenes that he's not in with the kids? Like, just the whole thing at the junkyard happened before this? Like, what is going on? Also, I should mention, the way the scene is filmed sort of uncannily reminds me of that moment when the 3 of them find 11 in the woods in the rain. Because of also the positions that they're in. It's Mike in the middle and the other 2 to the side, and the camera sort of starts panning in on Mike. It just reminded me of that so much. So could it be, like, are they finding 11? Are they finding something else that they weren't expecting to find? So that's very interesting. Then we see a shot of Bob, who is Sean Astin's character, in scrubs. And so I would assume that this is in the lab somewhere. But Mike is also there. And he's wearing the polo shirt hoodie combo. So, yeah. And hey, look, Dr. Owens is also there. It's like, what is happening? Like, how did these 3 even get together in the same place? And I get the feeling that this is from later on in the season, probably closer to the finale. So I would guess they're in the lab. It looks like it. I don't know. Then we see a shot of Hopper and Bob. And I love this shot just because it goes to show that even though Hopper and Bob are supposed to be like romantic rivals of some kind when it comes to Joyce, they're both still technically on the same side. You know, they're both on the same team, and then that's Team Will. It does seem to be Will that Hopper's carrying, so I'm guessing this is somewhere in the lab as well. Probably relatively close to what the previous screen cap was. I don't know, in timing at least, somewhere closer to the end. And it seems like they're rescuing Will, so did the people of the lab try to like keep Will trapped in there or something, and now they try to get him out? What is happening? Next, we see a shot of some rando with a gun. I don't know what's happening here, but I do have to point out that that door that he goes through, it's the same place where 11 is in that EW still that we saw for the first time around, the one with the overalls and the bag. So is the random with the gun, is the random dude with the gun coming after 11? Is this the lab? Why does the situation necessitate guns? Like, are they really going after 11 with shotguns? I guess that's what they did the first time around, so it would make sense, but I just want to know what this place is. Then we see some scared scientists running into an elevator, which always bodes well for them, don't you think? It reminds me a lot of the opening scene of season 1, where there was this one scared scientist who ran for the elevator, and then the Demogorgon got him in the elevator. So I'm going to hypothesize that this too takes place at the beginning of the season, probably the opening scene, because the Duffers have mentioned that the opening scene of the season is going to take place in a completely different place, in what they call an urban environment. Maybe this is the scene that opens everything. I don't know. It does certainly have that X-Files feel that I got from the original opening scene for season 1, so could be. Then we showed up a bunch of masked people. I don't know who these masked people are. I tried sort of looking at their clothes and trying to like cross-reference them with other screenshots from other parts of the trailer for any of the characters, and I can't get enough detail to be able to tell, because this is really quick look. So, I don't know why any of the characters would be wearing masks. as they get out of the van. So I can only assume are these bad guys of some kind. I don't know what's happening. Then we see a shot of Dustin, and Lucas is there as well, and they're hiding from something, and Dustin is yelling into the walkie-talkie that he's calling for help, basically, if there's anyone out there. And behind Lucas, you can see that the wall of wherever they are is made out of metal, and there's a huge dent in it. So I would assume that they're still in the bus at this point, and I don't know, he's calling for help from people to save them from whatever's attacking them in the bus. That's what I would guess. Next, we go back to that cave in the Upside Down, and we see Steve throwing something down the tunnel. Note that, once again, Mike is there, so he definitely goes into the Upside Down with the rest of the kids, even if he's not there earlier when they're in the junkyard. So must be the same sequence as before when we saw Mike in the tunnel for the first time. So I don't know what they're doing. Or is that like a light that Steve is throwing? Is that some kind of bomb? Are they trying to kill something that's in the middle of the tunnel? I'm not sure. Then we get to like the awesome action sequence part of the trailer, and I find it hysterical. I love this shot because it starts with Hopper basically throwing a shotgun at Steve. Can I just say how much I love that Hopper is giving shotguns out to a teenager? I mean, I get it, Steve is probably 18 at this point, but still, like, he's a teenager. And you're the chief of police. I probably wouldn't do that. But hey, desperate times, right? And we see a series of shots, some of which we've seen before. We see Nancy with a shotgun as well, Dustin standing behind her, as is Jonathan, and even Joyce is there. We also see more of Hopper, and even Lucas is there with Max, and he's got his slingshot, and he's trying to protect her, and they're all in the same place. I think it's fairly obvious that they're all in the same place. I don't know if this is Joyce's house. It seems like it might be from the lighting, but at the same time there are paintings in the walls that I don't know if I recognize from her house. Seems a bit fancy for it to be Joyce's house, so I don't know, but for the moment I'm saying it's Joyce's house. And because they're all there, I have to assume that this is close to the end of the season. This is at the climax, where all the subplots come together to get to one point. And it's probably really close to the moment where Mike says that Will is the only one who knows how to destroy this thing. So I don't know. We don't see Will in there, so I don't know if they have rescued him at this point or if this is happening before that. So I guess we'll see. Then we catch another glimpse of Hopper with the shotgun, which, can I just say, it's so great. He's so badass. I love him. I figure this is also the same scene. He's shooting at something. I don't know what. Oh god. It literally just hit me. Are they shooting at Will? Does Will become a monster and that they're shooting at that monster? Is that going to happen? Because now I'm terrified. And we see a shot of Will with his eyes closed, and he's got really strong lighting in his face. Is he in the Upside Down? It doesn't seem that way because the blue hue is not present. Or is he like inside this monster that they're shooting at, and he's trying to fight it somehow? Is this happening like in some kind of mental dreamscape a la Professor X, maybe? Like, also, how long are these kids' eyelashes? I'm so jealous. Look at them, they're so long, it's incredible. I hate your nose now, but I love you too, baby. Then we see Billy with the 80s hair again, and guess what? He's angry, because apparently angry is his default mode. I think this is from the same scene that we saw of him before, because he seems to be wearing the same shirt, and I can't speculate as to who he's fighting, but I mean, seriously, we don't know anything about this guy, and the season premieres in 10 days, and I have no idea what's going on with Billy, who he is, who he's fighting, why he's so angry. I know nothing. Any speculation would just be completely inaccurate at this point. Then we start getting glimpses of Eleven using her powers, and she's again wearing the same clothes that she did when we saw her break into the house. She's got the coveralls and the jacket, and also from the graffiti in the background, I can't imagine that this is anywhere in Hawkins. I'm not sure. Is she somewhere in a city? And if she's in a city, did someone leave her there? Or did she just escape from the cabin and wind up in a city? Like, it certainly seems that she does spend most of the season apart from all the others, because we just haven't seen her interact with all the others. But it could just be that they're hiding her from us, so I don't know, maybe this happens really early on in the season, and then later on she meets up with the others. Who knows? Then we see a shot of what looks like at first glance as police following a van. And it should be noted that this is the same van that we see the masked people come out of. Also, one of the cars is a patrol car, but the other one is not. So even though it seems like it's some kind of police car chase, it might just be a regular cars driving down the street thing. Like maybe it could be the kids in the van, and then Hopper in the police car, and then, I don't know, Joyce or Jonathan in Joyce's car right by them. It could be. But then again, I don't know why the kids would be wearing masks, unless they're like trying to break into the lab using clown masks or something. But I couldn't tell from that one scene that we got of them in the masks. So I don't know. I'm just speculating. My first instinct was it was the police chasing someone, but when I look at the screen cap itself, I think, yeah, it might not be a car chase after all. It might just be people trying to get to a place in a real hurry. Like our characters in a real hurry to get somewhere. I don't know. It definitely looks like a city though, because there's like a big building in the background. So then we see two guys with guns, and I'm not entirely sure who they are. Are they security? Are they guards? Are they military? I don't know enough about uniforms to be able to tell. But I do get the feeling that, once again, this is from the beginning of the season, maybe around the same time where the scientists are running to the elevator. Maybe the same scene, I don't know. Then we get a little, very short snippet of Mike covering his ears and looking scared. I don't know why, but I should note that he's wearing the polo and hoodie combo, so definitely this is taking place sometime near the end of the season, probably the scene at Joyce's house. It could be that he's covering his ears to, like, protect his ears from the gunshots. Who knows? And, I mean, where are they shooting at anyway? We don't know, so I can't even tell why he's so surprised. And then, we get to a really cool part where we start just getting flashes of Eleven using her powers. And holy shit, is she moving a train car with her mind! You guys, look at that train car! That is amazing! She moved a freaking train car! Like, can you just imagine the Duffer sitting there like, okay, how are we going to top flipping over a van with her mind? Oh, I know! Let's let her freaking flip a train with her mind! What? What? You guys, it's like, the van flip has officially been outdone. By far. Also, my initial theory when I first watched the trailer was that the guys in the masks were somehow after 11 for some reason. And that this here was her trying to defend herself from them. But I really got no certainty for this. Like, it was just my gut that told me that. I have no proof. But I just wanted to mention it just in case. I might turn out to be psychic about this too. But I'm probably wrong. I don't know. I can only tell that she's fighting someone. And she moves a freaking train car! We also see a little glimpse of Owens telling somebody to run. He's yelling into a microphone, so I would guess this is him shouting in the PA system of the lab, I guess. Now, I don't know that he's a good guy, so I don't think he's talking to our protagonists. I'm going to assume he's not trying to save them, because I think he's going to turn out to be evil. But who knows? At this point, I can't tell. Then we see a really quick shot of the boys running down the tunnel in the Upside Down. And is this what that phrase, "we should go because it lives here," means? Refers to, are they running from whatever lives in that tunnel? I can't tell who's saying that line, honestly. Is that Mike? Is it Lucas? Is it Will? I don't know who's saying the line, so I don't know if it refers to this specific scene. But it could be, I guess. We also get a really, really quick and disturbing shot of what looks like Karen being treated with like electrodes in her brain. Is that Karen? What are they doing to Karen? Don't you dare touch a hair on Karen's head! You bastards! Get the hell away from her! You do not hurt Karen, damn it! Ugh! I think that's the part of the trailer that made me the most scared. So I'm like, what the hell? What the hell is happening? Like, Karen doesn't have anything to do with any of this. She doesn't even know, probably. Like, what is going on? I'm so scared for her. I'm so scared for Karen. We also catch a glimpse of Max hitting something. I'm just gonna assume it's some kind of monster tentacle thing, because there are a lot of monster tentacle things in this trailer, I guess. But I like that she's defending herself. It definitely looks like Joyce's house because there's the drawings of the monster in the back. And then we get to what is basically the stinger of the trailer, which is Dustin talking to Steve, which is kind of hysterical. This is probably early on, maybe before they go to the junkyard. Dustin is holding a bouquet of flowers in his hand, and I'm just like, who are the flowers for, Dustin? Is he trying to woo Max? If he is, it's kind of cute, but it could also be that Steve gave him the flowers to give to Nancy or something, because honestly, I can't imagine that Dustin would have that kind of money to go buy flowers for Max. But I just think it's really cute too. Then it cuts to the two of them at night, which I would guess, again, is in the junkyard at some point. And, you know, initially Dustin asks Steve if he still had the bat with the nails, and Steve doesn't answer, but then it cuts to the night shot, and Steve is opening the trunk of his car and pulling out the bat. And it's just so great. It made me laugh so hard. Also, can I just say that Steve looks really damn good in that jacket? Like, seriously, I've never ever like really liked Steve or Joe Keery physically speaking. His appeal was more of a charm thing for me, but damn, that jacket and the way he pushes up his sleeves, oh god, he looks so utterly hot. I can't even tell you. I love this shot so much. And of course, I just love that the bat is back. I love that bat. The bat was awesome. And in the season 2 finale, him spinning it before he hit the monster with it was so cool that I'm really glad to see the bat back. And I reiterate, I really, really, really want Steve and Dustin to become BFFs. Like, I didn't know I needed this until I saw this trailer, and now suddenly I really need it. I need this to happen. Please, please, please let it happen. They will be the best team ever. Yeah, that's pretty much the breakdown of the entire trailer. If you have any answers to the questions that I posed in this breakdown, or if there's something that you want to correct me on, maybe something that I got wrong, maybe something that I missed and didn't see, let me know. What you think of the timeline, what you think of Mike's fashion choices with the hoodie and the polo shirt, and I love him. So I pay attention to the stuff that he's wearing. I'm sorry. Hope it's not too annoying for you guys, but this trailer was amazing. It watched like the trailer of a movie, not a TV show. It looks so great, and I can't wait. There's only 10 days to go, and I'm already preparing my watch party so I can watch it with my family and friends, and it's gonna be awesome, and I can't wait. It's so great. Guys, finally, it's almost here. Oh, I feel it in my bones that I'm gonna love this season so much. So let me know what you thought about the trailer, about my breakdown, if there are any questions that you want to ask, if there are any suggestions that you want to make, if there are any corrections that you want to give me. Let me know in a comment, and while you're down there, if you have any topics that you would like me to talk about in the future, be it any geeky stuff, books, movies, TV, anything like that, if the topic itself is something that I have any knowledge of, if I'm knowledgeable about it, I will make sure to add it to my list of videos to make in the future. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you like my stuff, please subscribe to my channel. I'm always happy to see people subscribing and liking and sharing and commenting, because that's what makes me do this, being able to share my fangirlishness with fellow fans, and it's always glad to see you guys responding to it, so please keep doing that. In the meantime, you can find me on social media. I am on Twitter and Instagram at girlsareweird with underscores between the words, And I am on Tumblr at Girls Are Weird with hyphens between the words. And you can find a Facebook page for this vlog at facebook.com/FreakingNarnia. And as usual, you can always visit my main website at FreakingNarnia.com. All my videos are up there, so in case you missed anything and want to catch up, that's the place where you have to go look. Also remember that I have a Redbubble store where I make art based on my favorite quotes from my favorite fandoms in general. And then you can use that art to print on merchandise such as t-shirts, coffee cups, computer covers, bags, all sorts of neat stuff. So be sure to check it out and maybe purchase something if you're in the mood. It really does help me a lot. And yeah, that's about it for this installment of Talks from Freaking Narnia. I will see you guys next Friday. Hopefully not with another Stranger Things video, but who knows? Because guys, it's only 10 days to go and this is literally the only thing that I can think about. So who knows? But I will see you guys next Friday with another video from all the way in Freaking Narnia. Bye bye. Which I was totally not expected because people are entertained. Information in the magazine. Stab me in the heart. Jean, if anyone knows how to kill this thing, my baby Matt, we see a shot of